And don't you see this is how usually it works? Banks don't want the house. They're not in the business of houses, they're in the business of money. So because they're in the business of money, they only will buy the house if you promise and swear by God that you're going to buy the house from them. And so it's only after you've signed the piece of paper that yes, I'll buy the house from you. The bank goes, okay, here you go guys, give me the house, and here you go Tawfiq, take your house. So this is actually hilal ribah. There is no difference here. So therefore this is one of the problems that usually a lot of Islamic charities, or Islamic solutions to the current problems have. That is actually hilal ribah. Second problem is that it embodies two contracts in one contract. As we just showed you, he has only bought it because he has sold it to me as well in the same contract. Otherwise he would not have done it because it's too much risk for the bank, because the bank might buy the house, you might not find a buyer, seller, someone will buy the house from the bank and at the price the bank wants. So this is why there is actually sometimes, in most cases, two sales in one sale. And also, it does not follow the principle of profit and loss. Rahim has a guaranteed profit. He has a guaranteed profit because he went ahead and he bought the car for 10 and he sold it to me in the same contract for 12. So he has a guarantee of 12,000. There is no way of loss. Had Rahim just bought the car and then I had the choice to buy the car or not to buy the car, then there would be a problem because Rahim had the possibility of making a loss. He might not find a buyer after me after I go away. He might find a buyer who will only buy it for 8, not for 10. So he might end up losing £2,000 instead of making £2,000, right? So this is why when you have two contracts in one contract, the reason is because one of the parties want to guarantee its own profit. However, Islam does not allow that. Islam always says profit with loss, loss with profit. If you want to make money, you must have the possibility of losing it as well. Okay? This is based on the fact that Rasulullah said in a beautiful hadith, he said, Al-Kharaju bid-Daman, verily profit is with loss and profit is with the guarantee of loss. Al-Kharaju bid-Daman, profit was the guarantee of loss. What happened? What happened was, he said this because once a companion, he bought a slave from another man, and so he used this, and then the slave stayed with the man, and he did a lot of work for the man, for this companion. He did a lot of work for the companion, about a week or so. However, after a week, he found something in the slave, a defect in the slave. Okay, I don't know, perhaps it was a blind eye, whatever, and one of his eyes were blind, and so he took that slave back to that companion and said, "Hey, I bought a slave from you with the condition that he is perfectly right, perfectly okay, but he has a defect, so I want my money back." So the companion gave his money back and took his slave back. Right, the other guy, other companion, gave the money back and took his slave back. However, he said, "Okay, but you used my slave for 1 week, right? You used my slave for 1 week, so I want money for that." So they argued and they went to Rasulullah ﷺ, and so Rasulullah ﷺ said, "No, the profit is with the guarantee of loss." What does that mean in this scenario? In that scenario, what it means is that because the other companion who bought the slave, he had the possibility of losing the slave as well, and because the slave died, for example, after the 3rd day, for example, if the slave died after the 3rd day, who would be at loss? The one who bought it, right? So because he had the possibility of loss at that point, so he is also the one who makes the money from the slave at that point. So therefore, the Rasulullah ﷺ did not oblige that companion, the one who had bought the slave, to pay for those 1 week, for the 1 week that the slave had worked for him. Do you see that? In the same way, if we take, for example, a washing machine, for example, we buy a washing machine, and within the 30 days guarantee, we give the washing machine back. Okay, within 30 days, but we have used the washing machine for 15 days, for example. Is it permissible for the washing machine company to say, "Hey, you have to pay for those 15 days that you've used the washing machine, rental charge"? We say no, it's not permissible. Why? Because Rasulullah said, "Al-Kharaj bid-Daman," verily profit is with the possibility of loss. If the washing machine broke down and was destroyed at that time, for example, I don't know, was stolen at that time, who would be at loss? You or me? I would be at loss, right? I'm the customer, I would be at loss, and so therefore I'm the one who has the right to make profit from it as well. over here, in our scenario of the borrowing case, Rahim doesn't have a possibility of making a loss, because he has signed me up such that already he will buy for 10 and I will buy for, and he will sell to me for, he will buy for 10 and he will sell to me for 12. So he has a guarantee of profit. So this is haram, la yajuz. Okay, so this is another problem that many of these Islamic solutions have, so-called Islamic solutions have. Another problem that many of these solutions have is the ghara, the uncertainty. The uncertainty that these Islamic, so-called Islamic solutions have is that, for example, in the contract, they agree, such as, for example, hire purchase contract, they will say, for example, as you pay £1,000 every month, you will start to own more and more of the house. Right? What happens is, after 25 years, because you'll be owning more and more of the house, after 25 years, you will end up being the owner of the house. So after half of that, which is 12.5 years, you'll end up owning half of the house. Because your £1,000, 1,000 from the £1,000 that you're paying monthly of your repayments, 800 of that is going back to service your debt and to pay back the capital, whereas 200 of it is 800 of it is for servicing the debt, and 200 of it is for the capital. So as you go increase, and you come until 12.5 years, for example, and you have half of your money, 500 of your debt of your money is going for servicing the debt, and half of it is going for paying back the capital. Until you come to 25 years, and with the last installment, you have almost 950 of your money going for the capital, at 50% or £50 only going for servicing the debt, and then after that you have no more debt left. This is how it works, right? So you end up buying more and more of the house as time goes on. This is uncertainty. How? Because at every stage you don't know how the house is going to be, and that extra percentage of the house that you're buying, right? The extra percentage of the house that you're agreeing to buy. You're agreeing to buy that 1% of the house in 10 years, and more and more of the house in 25 years. But you don't know the condition of the house at that point. And so that is the uncertainty in the contract. That there is uncertainty in the contract because you're buying more and more of the house, but you don't know what the condition of the house will be. The next point that most of these Islamic systems, so-called Islamic systems, have is that it embodies a condition that goes against the part and parcel of contract. Like, for example, it will say, when you end up owning your house, yes, you can continue owning your house until 25 years. However, note this: you can't sell off your house, or you can't break down the house, or you can't even in your own part. Even if you end up owning half of it, still you can't sell off half of your house. So it stipulates a condition that you cannot do that, and that is a problem. That is a problem. That is a problem. Why? Because that condition goes against the real purpose of being an owner. And the purpose of being an owner is that you have the ability to use your ownership, the commodity that you own, in any way you like. You sell it, you give it as a gift, you give it as a bequest, whatever you want. However, these conditions usually, in most cases than not, they stop this. And also, many a times there is dhulm upon the people buying the house. There is dhulm upon the people buying the house. How is that? Many a times these contracts, they stipulate that it is that, for example, any problems with the house, any council fees, any anything to any maintenance fees, anything broken, anything happens to the house, like, for example, the house burns down, or for example, a car crashes into the house, whatever, everything to be looked after by you. That's dhulm. Why is it dhulm? Because after 1 year I only own 2% of the house and the bank owns 98%. So why should I pay for it? Isn't profit by loss? If you own 98% of the house and you want to make profit on the 98%, then you should also be paying for 98% of the loss.